Hey riders, most of you don't know that I've got short thumbs. So to hit the turn signal or the horn or the trip button or even the lights, it takes a physical effort to move my hand over to there. So I went and got the Harley turn signal extensions to fit on my bike, so I don't have to move my hand to hit the button. As you can see, I'm just short. Hang on, I'm gonna take this thing apart and we'll get at it. The main thing you gotta be careful about taking off these control housings is the clutch switch button that the clutch handle bumps into on a tab. If that button comes off, you won't have the in-gear clutch switch that lets you fire up the bike while in gear. Very careful, it's very fragile. If the button comes off, it just leaves a little tiny little plastic tab that'll easily snap off the next time you hit it. So let's take this thing apart. Now there's two screws, one on the top obviously, and one you have to go way underneath here to find it. This is the 2014 Softail Deluxe, but most of these housings are built the same way, so you have to hunt for this bottom screw. Sometimes it's way back here, sometimes it's over here, but my second one is right here, so I'll just easily pop this out. And now we carefully pry the housing apart.
One eternity later.
There, housing's off. Now I'm using a pick. You can probably use a small screwdriver, but I'm using a pick. And you can just gently pop the old button loose. There's two tabs, one on the top and one on the bottom, that run on a pivot. You can see the pivot here. The two pivots that let the rocker switch rock. You gotta be real careful. Those is thin plastic and you can snap it. Now one thing about these, that the turn signal, the new ones, they're not marked left or right, other than the arrow. So you have to take the old one, remember where the arrow went, I'm going to the left, and look at the top and you can see these channels inside. This side is completely smooth, this side has the channels. So you want to get the one that's pointing to the left with the channels on top. That's how they should look. Nice thing about these is where the pivot points are, they're chamfered, so they'll go over the tabs very easily. As long as you don't drop it. So all it takes is to line it up and simply gently push them on. It's that simple. Now you get your housing back on, make sure it's settled over the switches, and the channel for the screw, it's kind of a post. It doesn't always want to set down. You see it's not settling down very well. So you simply rock your grips back and forth. There you go. Until it smoothly drops on. Now my grips are locked. Double check to make sure my neutral switch is positioned correctly. And then proceed to put the screws back in. I use blue Loctite. I use the gel, the lipstick version of it. Goes on easier, no mess that way. There's no drips going on all over the place. Get the back one in and just slightly snug. Not going to crank it down yet. That leaves me a little playroom. That leaves a little playroom, a little wiggle room for the front screw to go in. just like that. The front screw's snug. Something to bring down the back until it's locked up. As far as I know, there's no torque value on these screws, so don't worry about that in the manual. I put them in until they quit turning, between the two halves have come together, and just give it a 1/8 of a turn more. Now I know the Loctite's going to hold on to it, so I'm not worried about it. There. Now I don't have to leave my grip to hit my switch. It's that simple. So that's all there is to it. Just got to be careful. Don't lose any parts. Make sure your neutral switch is not popped out of place. You turn everything on and so turn signal. I have turn signals. Yep. I got my light switches still operate just fine. And okay, that's all there is to it. It's simple stuff. You can do it too.